Going on, everybody? It is Craig and I am back, and this is the fourth time I tried to make this video. If my phone rings, I swear to Christ, I'm going to throw it out the window. And I don't have a window in here, so that'd be impressive. Anyway, movie number 5 in my series. We'll see. Maybe we'll get to the 100. I hope I do. I went with a movie that I've known about for a while, and I've had some friends say is okay and enjoyed it. I've avoided it. The movie is ATM, as you know, because you clicked on the image. But ATM from 2012, fast forward, you wind up with 3 friends, or 3 people know each other anyway, sort of in an ATM together, and they witness this guy very much in a hood, sort of like, I know a U.S. summer guy, but instead of it being like the cloak, it had all the fur around it. And, they were there because the one friend was drunk. Instead of him going home, he wanted pizza. They need money at the ATM. Wasn't a friend anyway, because that friend jumped in, made his buddy, who was finally got a date with the girl of his dreams and was driving her home. They could have talked, yada yada. And he's like, "No man, you promised you'd take me. Call an Uber." The guy had money. But anyway, they didn't, and they wound up there all together inside the ATM, like one of those room ATMs, with a guy they witnessed kill somebody on the outside. Now, the killer doesn't ever go in the ATM, even though he could. It's one of those things that they tell you why that is a little bit later on in the movie. Which, I don't know, I may or may not spoil some stuff in this, because it's not a great film, because there's a lot of things in it that just don't make sense. Talk about when people are dumb and they're running upstairs instead of out the door. They knew this guy was in the back of the ATM several times. They are all relatively fit. The killer, who they just called the Man on IMDb, is a little bit bigger, so he probably couldn't run as fast. So I guarantee you, at least 2 or 3 could have well outran him, if not all 3 of them, if they just jumped out and kept going. They never did that. They just stayed in there to wait. So not only did they wait, but they waited for him to eventually put a car against the door, so they couldn't initially get out. And then when that happened, he started filling it up with water from a hose. So then it became, oh my God, what do you do? And bad things start to happen again. I just didn't like this movie because it did too much. I'm going to give it a rating that means, hey, check it out and see it, because it is a little bit different. Although, what's that, Rest Stop? Is that the one that Joey Lawrence was in? I actually thought that was better. Someone just being trapped inside the bathroom. And I think that was done a lot better with the killer, and the killer, you got a lot more backstory on him. All you got here is the killer was like the collector, like Jigsaw, and he made elaborate traps that killed people inside ATMs. You would think the cops would figure that out eventually, because the whole crux is people die, one person stays alive, but since he's never on camera, it always looks like that person is really the killer, which again doesn't make sense, because you could see why would they be frantically doing the stuff they were doing. They did beat some poor soul to death, but they beat this guy to death because he showed up and went in the ATM wearing the exact same coat and the exact same size as the killer. Yeah, that was luck. That was going to happen. And then they beat him to death, and they saw the guy still standing out there, like, oh no. Or a security guard came by, and he's like, hey, you guys okay? Because they put help on the window and web stick. And instead of them scream, legitimately right away, hey, by the way, there's a killer out there, turn around. They're like, nah, nah, nah. And then the guy gets killed. So just the stupidity of many of the actions. I don't know if I've seen a stupider group. I really don't. And the actors, like I said, all known actors. That's the reason I avoided it before. They're known from other things. Like the jerk or friend who got drunk, he was in a bunch of Disney and family safe stuff, which is strange, like Full House and Drake and Josh and iCarly. It's like, really? He's in this? The girl in it is the one from She's Out of My League. And then the guy was in Chicago PD. I think that's what they call the Wednesday night one with Dick Wolf, which is a good show, but he wasn't great in that show, so I was in no rush to sort of see this. Again, it's an interesting premise. There's a lot of interesting premises that, fall flat, and I just think that them adding in the guy who looked the exact same getting killed, them making it this guy just kills people in ATMs all over the place, they added stuff they didn't have to add, and that just isn't believable. And ultimately there were also 3 of them. And even if you want to be sexist and say, well, the girl might not be able to handle the guy. Listen, 3 people beating up one person that only has a bludgeon weapon? Come on, they didn't even try, except when they killed the guy who they thought was him. But anyway, folks, I tried to keep these to 5 minutes. This gets a 5 out of 10 reluctantly.